Listen, we're going to do something different this episode for y'all. We are going to include the full decision of Ali and Demi. We are not going to leave y'all on a cliffhanger like how they did with this episode. So you go get the full analysis on what we think about that decision this episode. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So it is the stag do for the guys, which is the bachelor party. And it is the hen do for the girls, which is the bachelorette party.
Nice.
So the guys start off on like a pedal pub kind of ride, and the girls go to a bar where there are male entertainers and a burlesque show.
Nice.
Catherine tells her friends that her mom and her dad loved Freddie. Jasmine and her friends talk. She said that she talked to her mom about boundaries, but everyone, her friends included, know that it's going to be difficult with her mom. Her mom's going to be involved in everything.
Let's stop right there for a second. I feel like, hey, Jasmine, is this the first conversation you're having with your mom about boundaries? Because I feel like if boundaries was a real conversation, if it was a real topic that you cared about, y'all relationship wouldn't be as tight as y'all are.
Right.
Because if someone who likes to cross boundaries compared to someone who likes to set boundaries, y'all should butt heads. But it seemed like this is the first time y'all have this conversation. Like, yeah, mom, you know you can't do that. No. You don't start telling your mom what she can't do at the marriage. It starts way early. Like, don't go through my phone. Don't come in my room without knocking. Like, there's certain things that you practice. So when you do say, hey, don't do this, it wouldn't come off as some big surprise. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that not a lot, but in this case, sometimes people's moms can be so overbearing that, like Jasmine said at one point, she's like, I've done everything my mom has ever wanted me to do my whole life, and it's up to me to make a decision on what I want to do for myself. So it sounds like it might be the first time that she's actually trying to step out and venture off into a different area that maybe her mom doesn't agree. And even if it's not, if you have a parent like that who can be so overbearing, but at the same time, if you have like a codependent relationship, you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to sever your relationship. Like, you still love your parents. So I can see why it's difficult and not so like cut and dry for her. I don't agree with it. I'm like, you need to tell your parents like what is permissible and what's not, just like any other relationship. But for some people, the way that they're like raised up is more difficult.
Yeah, let's go.
So Sabrina is crying. She is just really happy. She can't believe she found someone that she can spend the rest of her life with.
Okay.
Demi says to her friends that they're going to be separated for a little bit of time before the wedding, which everybody is. She said that she's going to see if he's going to make any effort during that time. She won't meet his family until the wedding, but she wants the kind of marriage that her parents had, the long 16-year marriage.
Yeah. What did you take when she says to see if he make any effort during that time?
I took it just the way that she said it. Like, is he going to call? Is he going to text? Is he going to check in on me?
Oh, okay.
Is he going to make the effort just to reach out and, still keep up our bond even though we're not together? So how did you take it?
I ain't know what to take it as, because I'm thinking like, hey, tomorrow's the wedding. So any effort or anything like that should have been beforehand.
Well, she said it would be a few days that they'd be separated.
I understand that, but my whole thing is like this whole experience of y'all being behind the pods and things like that. I kind of took it like, why are you using this few days as a kind of like a decision maker? Like what more effort do you need to see in the span of y'all being away from a couple days, but days before the wedding? So that's why it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but at the same time, it's like, okay, true. Maybe like she just like talking,
So the guys, they end up at a sports bar. Jasmine ends up calling Bobby, and she tells him that there's so many strippers where they're at, and she tells him that he's going to have a stripper waiting for him when he gets back to the spot.
Okay.
So Ali cannot stop thinking about Demi. He is only worried about missing out on taking the time to actually get to know her. He's talking to his friend, I think, who's been married for 6 years, and even with her parents, they've been married for 16 years, but they dated before that, and he doesn't know if that's really going to make an impact at this point.
One thing I took out of this conversation, he mentioned her parents and the success of her parents, right? And he said one thing that does bother him just a little bit is the fact that they was married for 16 years plus, but they also was together for years before that.
Right.
And he was like, I'm worried that we don't have that.
Yes.
That kind of build up a foundation. I was just like, But you should already knew that when it comes to like this type of show,
right?
Like you can't wish and hope for something in a span of like, oh, I wish we had a longer, stronger foundation when you sign up for the show. You know, like, okay, this show give us this time span. I need to use my time wisely and build on that, and not wish for something that was never offered to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. So Tom tells Freddie that everyone is speaking so positively about their partners, but he doesn't know if people are being necessarily realistic. He has trusted every part of the experiment. It's worked out in his favor so far, and he's wondering if he should just take that leap of faith with Maria when it comes to the marriage day. Freddie tells him that he's feeling pretty much the same. Freddie doesn't give us too much of his thoughts.
This scene made me laugh because Tom was like, everybody here love their partners? Like, really? I cannot believe that. And I'm just, and Freddie's like, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, but be quiet though. You
exactly. Don't say it too loud.
Exactly.
Catherine says that if she thinks it's a no, she won't even go down the aisle. She asked him if he's ready for marriage, and he did say yes. She is ready to take that leap of faith with him. Okay. I just found it interesting, and it might have been me just nitpicking. But if you asked him if he was ready for marriage, did you ask him if he was ready to marry you? Because you're something else, Catherine. I don't know if he's ready or willing to marry you.
I like what you're nitpicking.
So we get back to the apartments the next day. Everybody's packing, getting ready to move out, saying their goodbyes and giving their hugs and kisses. Yeah. Catherine, before the wedding, talking about how she misses Freddie. Apparently, he put a note in her suitcase that said, "With you always." She found that to be really reassuring, and the situation is starting to hit her now.
Okay, nice.
So we've got the wedding days. Yes. We start with Stephen and Sabrina. We see flashbacks of how they got to where they are today. We actually see flashbacks of all the couples. Yeah. They still need to figure out where they're going to live. She talked about maybe spending some time in Belfast, where she is, and then he says he thinks that they're going to live in London for a couple of years. So they're still not quite on the same page when it comes to the living situation.
What have y'all been doing with y'all time?
She's thinking about everything that she doesn't quite know, all of the unknowns, but she still loves him and thinks that they are each other's person. Yeah. Stephen is feeling content and complete with being with her, and he is wanting to be his best self because of her. His parents see him, wish him the best, and we get to their wedding, and it ends with I do's on both sides.
Listen here, we know whenever y'all the first ones, y'all go say yes. Yeah. Because if it starts off with no's, we're like, oh my goodness.
I expected that for them.
Yeah, so I expected that for that. Anything to add about them?
He looks like Doctor Strange.
Thank you, man. It's the third time she said that today.
I think his name's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Don't ask me.
He favors him to me. That's all I had to say. Okay. I knew they were going to stay together.
All right. Thank you, Blair.
Handsome guy. Yeah. So we move on to Maria and Tom. Yeah. So she feels like Tom is her best friend. She thinks that he's going to be a great husband. We see their package. He is disappointed his mom isn't there. Yeah. He knows that they're not 100%, but this is still something he really wants. Yeah, yeah. Maria is feeling very emotional, and it's a big day. Now, just to pause for a second.
Let's pause.
Maria looked nervous to me.
Really?
She didn't look just emotional, excited because it was her wedding. Just looking at her face, like the excitement that I could see in her, because I feel like she's like a very you can kind of read her through her face almost. Like I think she wears her emotions kind of visibly. Okay. And when it came to what was it? Her waiting for the doors to open when she finally saw Tom, her being on vacation, her getting ready to see her family. I just felt like she looked very happy, optimistic, and excited. But going into this, it was more than just emotional. And I definitely think, the fact that her dad wasn't there was a huge deal. But it looked like she was nervous, unsure. Oh, okay. Not saying in her decision, but I think maybe just unsure of the day, which I think is an appropriate response. Did you notice that at all?
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah, I was just she's not her normal self. Something's off.
Maybe because I just imagine women to be emotional that day. So whatever she was feeling about, especially with someone that you don't know like that, everybody can come on this show and say they are my best friend, but they don't know these people. Yeah. So you're going to feel some type of uneasiness when it comes to it. So any nervousness that I saw, I expected it because it's Love is Blind, and you truly never know what somebody's going to say. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And I guess for all these other times she had seemed so sure and so confident in her answers and just you know what I'm saying, and looking forward to the experience. So just seeing that, I was just kind of something's off today. Something is just kind of off when it comes to Maria.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up.
So he talks to her mom, and the mom is saying that, if he marries Maria, then he will be one of hers. She tells him that he can call her mom, and she tells him that she asks him to look after her and to respect her. He says that he will. So, of course, she wishes her dad was there. During times like this, of special moments, it's really hard losing a parent. But she's really grateful to have her brother there to walk her down the aisle, who she feel like has stepped up since the passing of their father. And, of course, like her family is like super supportive. Okay. So we get to the altar. Tom is saying, now is not the right time. They ask him first. There are differences in values and how that will affect their life day to day isn't something that he's completely 100% sure about, and he just walks off.
So that's his decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maria is in shock. She can't believe it happened. She is looking back on it, thinking about it, realizing that it probably wasn't the right time, but she really wanted to be married. Now, Tom said if they were to have children, she would teach the son to pay for things, and she would teach the daughter to expect the guy to pay for things. And he was saying that he wants to raise a strong, like, independent woman who doesn't do that or doesn't expect that. And I'm just like, see, these are like conversations that you have to try to get on the same page. And if you guys aren't, then that's something that you kind of just leave where it's at. He decided to leave it where it's at, but I don't think he clued her in on that.
No, so. I think he did, though. And she just ignored the signs. The minute that she got mad about that ice cream that she offered to pay, and then he's like, oh, well, thank you. You get what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden he get chastised for it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying Tom is right in his decision, but his decision is a logical one. At least I see it from that perspective. And when it comes from different and that's another thing, I don't know so much if this is her culture or like religion when it comes to what she believes, but I know like he's thinking like, hey, you yelled at me about ice cream, about having to pay $5.60 for ice cream. That is a very small thing that you can at least pay for. You get what I'm saying? I can see if you don't want to help pay for my mortgage. Okay, fine. But ice cream, in my head, I was going to give you the electricity bill. In my head, I was going to get you the water bill. In my head, if you wasn't going to pay the mortgage, you was going to pay for something in the house. But you yelled at me about ice cream. So we are totally on two different trains, two different like vehicles when it comes to this. And truth be told, I think at this time it's not the right time for them to be married. But I see it as this: if you say no to me at the altar, there is no other time for you to say yes. You get what I'm saying? What did you think about Tom's decision?
Yeah, I felt like Tom was leaning towards a no.
Yeah, me too.
By everything he was saying, he seemed very unsure. He seemed really into Natasha. And I definitely felt like, okay, after he's done with this, he's about to hit her up. And he didn't stay back to like talk to Maria at all or like try to console her or anything at all. Like he literally just left the building, which I'm sure they give them that option when it comes to production. But if you really loved and cared for this person, I think he would at least like try to hold her hand. I don't know. It just seemed kind of cold a little bit the way that he did it. Yeah. So, and maybe I'm also comparing it to how the way like some other people handled it, and it came across cold to me.
Yeah, I think this was the way that it was set to be, because who we about to see, I'm like, oh, this is how it's done. You say your answer and you rather stay or go. You get what I'm saying? So let's keep going.
So we get to Demi and Ollie. Demi is excited. Yeah. They have had their ups and downs, but she makes sure to say that the downs are really pretty much other people's opinions getting involved in their relationship. Since leaving the apartment, they really have not been communicating, and the lack of contact has made Demi anxious. She wanted to give him space to let him process, but like she needed a little bit more communication reassurance during that time they weren't together. Yeah. Ollie is feeling overwhelmed. He's nervous, but he knows that if he's nervous, that means that he does care about what's about to happen. Yeah. So Aaron from the pods come in and he tells him, look, I know you overthink things, but sometimes that's just something you don't need to do. You have to be here for the journey. Yeah. Ollie shares a drink with his dad. his dad is very proud of him. Her parents visit her and they tell her like friendship and love is the perfect combo. No marriage is easy. It's something that you have to work.
Now stop right here. What did you notice so far before we get to the altar? I'm gonna see if you good with your context clues and things of that nature.
I don't know. It's kind of easy to look back and kind of have like clear vision. At the time, I thought they were both gonna say yes. I mean, that's what I really thought. One
thing I noticed is Aaron from the pod showed up as Ollie's friend. Where's your friend at, Ollie? Not someone from the show. Someone you just met.
Yeah.
And also the fact that his father, right, not his mother, his father came in last minute to basically say something to him. First time we seen anybody from his family, right? And I'm starting to think, like, looking at it, now this is just me focusing on Ollie by itself. I'm like, Ollie, do your family, for one, agree with this process, number one? Where is your support system, number two? Because even when his father came in there, it's not like he came in there to offer support. He kind of came in there kind of like, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Just like, we're here, we're happy for you, da-da-da-da-da. It just seemed like nobody was with Ollie during this process, no more than the person he just met in the pod.
Okay.
And I'm just like, when you look at Demi's side, she got her family, her parents and things like that. It just seems like Ollie was by himself. Right. And I'm like, that is not a good sign for someone who basically overthinks, who feels like, the walls is caving in on them, to leave them with their thoughts. Right. Number two, one thing I noticed that Demi said, which I never heard her said, she said her heart feels one way and her head feels another thing.
Yeah.
And she said she don't know what is going to speak up at the altar. And I was like, where'd that come from? Because before y'all left, y'all was hugging, y'all was talking about how y'all got to FaceTime all the time and things of that nature. But then it comes out that y'all had no communication up to this point. So I'm like, what happened in y'all relationship from the time that y'all wasn't together, from the time that y'all was together, and now we're at the altar to where Demi's like, I don't know what's going to speak up, my head or my heart.
Okay.
And that's what I'm like, this is very interesting, but let's keep going.
So we get to the altar. Demi says, I do not.
Wow.
And Ollie is shocked. He's asking why.
Yeah, he said, why?
Yeah. So she said that she's learned to love herself on a different level, and it is a testament to him. She knows what she wants in a husband. They're not quite there. She does love him, and they end up hugging it out. So she ends up crying. Ollie knows that he can't look down on somebody for not wanting to marry someone that they met only after a few weeks.
Yeah.
But they do have a great connection. So he's wondering, why not just say yes because of our connection? But Ollie tells us they're not over yet.
Okay.
Ollie tells Aaron that he is feeling sad, but also happy in a way. Like, he wouldn't want them to get married, then end up in like a terrible divorce. This chapter is closed, but their story is going to continue.
Okay.
Ollie tells us that he did find true love here.
And that's what I'm saying. I think with production, because when she said her answer, she got in the car and left. She did not speak to Ollie.
Right.
What did you think about the reasons why she said no, and basically just your reaction to this scene right here?
For Demi, I thought they were on like a really good path, and I could understand why somebody might not be quite ready for marriage after knowing someone for after a few weeks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. It just really rubs me the wrong way, whether it's like a guy or a girl who says that, like, we're not going to be married, but we could possibly still continue. Because I'm just like, the whole purpose of this is for people who are ready to be married, to find their person to marry, to live out a marital life together and work on their issues together and build and grow together. It's not for people to kind of talk about marriage and then just date anyway, and then maybe or might not get married in the future. Like, the whole purpose is y'all want to be married, I thought. So, I understand where Demi's coming from, but at the same time, I'm just like, why even do this show? Like, so.
And I don't know where Demi's coming from at all.
Okay.
That's why when she said she learned to love herself on a different level, in a different light, and it's a testament to Ollie, that's why I'm saying no. And I'm just like,
but she also said that she knows what she wants in a husband and he's not quite there. I think that Ollie, at least from what I've seen, he gets overwhelmed.
Yes.
He left her when he felt overwhelmed.
Yes.
He didn't include her in his thought processes when it came to how he was feeling.
Okay.
He came first whenever his feelings started to erupt.
That is all true.
So I could, and you know, of course, giving her the chance to expand, she could probably give us reasons, and she probably doesn't want to tear Ollie down because overall he's a pretty good guy. But when it comes to like a marriage and a partnership, those might not be the qualities that you want to have
100%.
At the moment of marriage. Like
100%.
I need you to kind of be a little more solid, and not to say anything about his ADHD or things like that, but maybe, you know, are you seeing a doctor? Are you on medication? Is that something you need? Like, you know, just kind of trying to get certain things in order so that way you can be as happy and healthy for your partner as possible. So I think at least if I was her, or at least when I'm thinking of what she's thinking about, those are the things that would make me be like, maybe he's not quite there yet, you know?
Yeah. And that's one way to look at it. One way I looked at it was, hey, I'm not going to help you build your confidence to not be with me. All this time, all we heard from Demi in the first 3 episodes of things of that nature was talking about how she felt insecure, about how she felt about her weight, and hopefully he likes what he sees, and all these things, right? And I understand that Ollie is he has things to deal with, but so do everybody else. And I understand you get to choose your thing of like, I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with this, right? But my thing is like, I really think maybe the fact that they had no communication for those couple days before the wedding may have swayed her, right? Maybe. And I'm like, if that's enough to sway you, then just leave him. I don't understand, to your point, Blair, the whole saying, no, you're not the guy that I want to marry at the moment for what I see in myself and things like that. But at the same time, I'm going to still be with you. I'm like, hey, listen here. Ollie is not perfect. We know Ollie is not perfect, and he has his mental disorders and things like that he have to overcome, right? But same as she may not have mental disorders, but they share with each other the things that they have to overcome,
that they struggle with.
And I'm like, hey, for you two. And I'm not here to just like, oh, defend Ollie. I just don't like the reason behind it. You get what I'm saying? It just seems very vague and very what's the word? Like it's kind of like I want to give you a reason, but like I don't want to say the reason, kind of to your point. Or maybe she didn't want to break them down. Maybe she didn't want to go into detail. But I really did not like the whole, like, I learned to love myself in a different light. And that's a testament to Ollie. And that's why I kind of felt like him, like when she said no, he's like, why?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like if I help you love yourself in a different light, is it the type of light to where it's like, oh, I know my worth now, and you're not that? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, dump me. Well, like if that's the case, don't be with me after the fact. This was very confusing to me, but surprising at the same time, because if you watch the last episode, we gave our predictions, and I thought he would be the one to say no. Even seeing him leading up to the altar, I thought he would be the one.
Well, they ain't ask him first, so
I thought he would be the one to say no. Even when his friend was talking to him in the his castmate was talking to him, say, hey man, you tend to overthink. You need to stop doing that. And I do agree, as a husband, as a man, you can't be doing that. But her reasons, I wish maybe down the line at the reunion and things like that, we get more detail to see where they are. But this really caught me by surprise. I see some people commenting and things like that on this episode saying, I love a queen who chooses herself. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think this is that. I can see why you would think this is that. But things like that will make you think this is that, and that's what make you go like, this is kind of weird and kind of strange, because I'm like, hey, Demi, you know you did sign up for this show too. Anybody who, it's kind of like you cannot, what's the word? You have the freedom to choose, but you cannot wish for something that was never offered to you when you willingly signed up for the show. You wish for more time. You don't have more time.
I don't think she was wishing for more time necessarily. I feel like she didn't really get to say what it was. I think she was trying to be as respectful as she could while just saying, it's not you, it's me, pretty much. I'm in a different space. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I ain't get that.
Okay.
Especially since he said, like, we are still, like, you know, we still gonna be in it.
But did she say that?
He said that.
I know, but did she say that? She still wanted to be with him. She said she does love him, but I don't know if she still wants to be with him.
Look at that. You done build this girl confidence up. She called herself fat for 4 episodes, and now she got the confidence to leave you. Oh, man. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Listen, we gonna be back with the next episode tomorrow morning. Make sure that y'all tune in for that. And we see you then.
Bye.
Bye.